Thank you for joining. I'll just wait a little bit before I start. So today we'll be drawing, or we'll be learning how to draw people quickly. So this means that you won't be sketching in great detail, or you won't be refining. So you'll just need your paper or your sketchbook. A sketchbook would be good. And then some pencils or pens, up to you. Okay, so I'll start. So I'm gonna use my Zen Art sketchbook. It's good to have your sketchbook because you can bring it everywhere with you, so you can sketch anywhere, anytime, and with just a pencil or your pen, you can do so many things. So this is good if you're just in the coffee shop, for example, and you want to sketch the people around you quickly, because you know they will move in less than 5 minutes or so. So it's good to capture their positions, their body positions. That's the first thing that you want to get, and then later on you can always add the details. Okay, so I'm gonna flip the camera down. Okay, and then I'm gonna zoom in and flip it around. Okay. Okay, so here I'll start with my iPad just to show you the idea behind it. Okay, so here I have several poses. So a walking man, a running woman, and a woman sitting down. Okay, so just the basic poses, for example, that you can start with. Okay, so the idea is to sketch like how we did when we were children. Okay, so when we were children, we would sketch using just a stick figure. Okay, so for example, it would be like this: the head, the body, the legs, the arms. Okay, so very simple. So the idea is something similar to this, but of course more proportion to what the actual human body looks like. Okay, so here we have poses. I've overlapped some simplified stick figure. I'll show you. Okay, so it would look like this. So this is how you can quick sketch a person's posture or their position, and then you can always add the details later on. Okay, so let's say this is it, and then we're gonna add the details. Okay, so let's start with this. So you already have the figure, and now you can just add the extra details like the back, the arms. Okay, so already, because you have the basic outline of the position, it's simplified, and now you can just add the details that you need. Okay, so let's finish this one so you get the idea. And just a bit of the overlap of the other leg at the other side. And there you go. You already have a quick sketch of the shape of the body. Then later on, then you can add the clothing and stuff like that. Okay, so this is how you can quick sketch people by getting also the right proportion. If you're looking to do this, always start with a stick figure. Okay, so just the head is circle, and then it has like a cone at the bottom that has been chopped off, and then you have your body, your spine, and then your shoulders, then the joints, and the hips, the knees, the ankles, okay. So let's do this on the sketchbook. Okay, so that's just to show you the basic idea of it. All right, so the human body is made up of, from head to toe, 7.5 heads. Okay, so if you were to do it quickly, okay, here, let's use a ruler. Okay, let's do this really properly. Okay, so 7.5 heads starting from here. Let's line them up. Okay, so I'm just showing you the theory behind this so that you can implement this anytime. You can practice on your own. Let's start with this proportion of 7.5 heads. For sculptures that we put on pedestals, sculptors tend to elongate it to lengthen the legs. They make the human body have 8 heads total, because once it's been put on the pedestal, there's some sort of distortion going on. The body shortens. So to compensate that, they extend the legs, they elongate the legs, so that when viewing it from below, it still looks proportioned. Okay, so we have 7.5 heads here. So just imagine like actual heads. Okay. So the first head is the actual head. And the human head is not just a circle, but like I said earlier, it's a sphere with a cone that's been like chopped off at the bottom. Okay, so that's the first head. The second head is where the bottom of the second head is where your nipples will be. Okay, so let's do the stick figure just so you can see. So let's add the joints. Adding the joints helps you check the proportion of the body. Okay, so like I said, this is the first head, and the bottom of the second head is where the nipples are. And the bottom of the third head is where your navel is, or your belly button. And the bottom of the fourth head is where your crotch is. Okay, so let's trace over that just so we get the. So this will work for both male and female bodies. Okay, So you will adjust the sizing according to what kind of hips the person has. So your navel will be in line with your elbows. Okay, and your wrists will be in line where your hip bone is. Okay, where it connects with the socket. So that's where your wrists will be. I think it's a bit lower than the crotch. Okay. And the fifth head will be somewhere mid-thigh. And the sixth head will be just under the knee. So your seventh head will be where your ankles are. And then the half would be your feet. Okay, so just extend your hand depending if it's clenched in a fist or open hand. Up to you. Okay, so before you focus on all the little details of the hands, feet, first practice on the proportion of the whole body. And once you've got that, then you can slowly focus on each body part. Okay, so this is the idea behind doing the quick sketching. So if you were to do this very quickly, you would just do a circle and the spine and then the hip area and then the shoulders, joints, line, and then once you have that, you have like a basic stick figure right here. Let's use another color so you can see. Then you can trace around it, add the details that will make it look like a human body. Okay, so it's very important that you observe all the curves, how the body curves, like here in the arm. Okay, for example, here it curves. If you do this really straight, it's going to look odd. It's like remember the human body has the bone, the muscle, the flesh, so that all contributes to the different curves. Okay, so there you go. And to remind, okay. So the first head, second head bottom, nipples, third head bottom, navel, in line also with the elbows, fourth head, the crotch, a little below that where the socket connects to the hip bone. It's also where the wrists are in line. And then just within the sixth head, you have the knees. And then at the seventh, you have the ankles. And then for the half, those are for the feet. Okay, so I hope that was clear. All right, so now let's move on to doing the basic sketching of the photos that I had earlier. Okay, so let's use that as reference photo. But you can, of course, totally do this when you are outside. Okay. All right, so these are the 3 reference photos that I picked. Okay, so you can just go outside if it's already safe for you, or you can just observe from your window and see how each one looks like for each person. Okay, so let's bring this closer. Okay, so let's start with this first pose. Okay, let's do a pencil sketch first. Okay, I'm gonna mount this. Okay, so for the first one, I'll start with the head. Okay, I'm going to divide my pages into 3. Okay, so let's start with the head. I'll use a pen so you can see it. Okay, so the head is a bit bent forward, and then I do the spine. So I'm doing the 2 shoulders. So it's important for you to remember your measurements. Okay, so just remember this so that you remember how long the proportions are with each other. Okay, so for example, the belly button is somewhere here, so the elbow must be in line with it because it's just falling straight down. And then I have the hip bone here, and then the leg that's striding forward, and then the feet, and then the other leg at the back. Okay, so these 2 and these 2 should be the same length. Okay, because that's how you can tell as well if it's going to be one leg is going to look too long. Okay, so there are no foreshortening here in this pose, so everything is just simple. Okay, so now that I have that, then I can add the extra detail like the shape of the head, okay, the back, the arm, okay, so I've got my first pose. Okay, so this is just quick sketching without all the extra details, but getting the proportions of the body right. So just like that, just by doing the stick figure style, you are able to capture the position of the body with a good proportion that is as near as you can get it in the short amount of time. If you have more time, then you can always start with a pencil and then sketch the other details thereon. Okay, so now let's go to the woman that's running. Okay, this one. Okay, so this is more of a bigger motion. Okay, so I'm going to start with the pencil now so that I can try to erase it later if I'm going to do more detail. Okay, so I'm going to start with the head, and then the neck. Then I'm going to look at the spine. Okay, if you have to check if it looks like it's curving or if it's bending, things like that, so you can already adjust, do those adjustments and use that to guide you. Okay, I think this is too long. Again, you can even use your pencil to make little measurements if it looks right. Okay, and use your pencil to gauge the angle of the body. So check from your reference, for example this, and use your pencil to judge what the angle is, and then transfer that to your paper and see if you're getting the angle right or not. Maybe you're doing it too upright or too bent. So using your pencil to gauge the right angle is very useful. That's why you see artists, when there's a model, they do their pencil like that, they stretch it out and make measurements. So you do that as well. Okay, I use it to gauge the measurements of the body parts and as well as the angle. Okay, so now I have the basic outline. Okay, now I can refine it. So let's say I use the pencil first, and now I can use my pen to do the details. So remember, this is quick sketching, so don't go crazy over getting everything right. Okay, just getting the right proportions will make a huge difference already. So here I'm already going towards the neck. And then putting in the adjustments that I need for the body type. Okay, so depending on the body type that you're copying from, then you have to check and observe. Okay, so everything is about making the right observations, especially when it comes to doing the shape of the different parts of the body. So here I'm already at the hips. I'm not going crazy over getting every tiny detail, just the main parts. Okay, so the knee, there's a little bump there, and don't forget to curve this part of the leg. So the front part is straighter, and then the back you'll have a curve. Again here, curve, and then straighter. And then you can add the detail of the hand. And there you go. Quick sketch a running woman. Okay, so you can even just first focus on getting the right proportion, and then later on you can always add those details. Okay, and now let's do the final one. Okay, this one, the one sitting down. Okay, So I'll share all these reference photos that I used later if you want to use the same, but you can always definitely use your own and even have people around you post. That's even better. Okay, so now the sitting lady. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with the head. Okay. So the head is a bit upturned, just a bit. So I'm gonna try to get that already. You don't really see all the neck because it's covered with hair, but I'll get the spine. When you start with a stick figure, you can still make little corrections later on. It gives you that opportunity to be able to fix whatever weird measurements you've made. So again, I'm gonna check for the angle, the knee in relation to the hip. Okay, so it's at this angle, not this, not this, so that I can see if I'm doing the right angle here. Okay, so don't forget to do those little tricks because they're really very useful and they work. Sometimes you feel like something's a bit off, it's just a little change in the angle makes a huge difference. And again, the hips are in line with the ankles in the photo, so I have to stop somewhere here. Okay, sometimes that happens too. It's a bit too long, too down. So check according to your reference photo. So I think this looks good enough. So I'm gonna trace over it now. Add the little details. Okay. So she's wearing glasses, so I'm going to quickly add that. Not too intensely detailed. And then she has the long flowy hair. I'm going to go over the arm now. So be careful to get the shape right. Okay, so you're holding the book, and the other elbow is a little bit hidden behind this arm in front. And then there's hair here again. A bit of the arm is showing. And now the hair is following the flow of the back. So for quick sketching, there's no limit to the lines. Okay, so if you need to use a lot of lines to, you know, get your drawing there, go ahead. And now I'm going towards the knees and the thighs. To their stones. You can always add those details later if you want, but you don't have to. Okay, so now we've got the pose down. Very simple, very easy, very quick. And then you can use this as your reference. You can make another one, but at least you were able to capture the pose of the person that you were trying to draw. Okay, so this is how you quick draw. Okay, so just to recap, remember your measurements. Human body is 7.5 heads. Okay, use your stick figure to simplify the form first and get the proportions right. And then later on, you can add the shape of the body. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. Even if it's after this live, okay, for later. If you've watched it and if you've tried it out and if you have any questions, just message, just comment. Okay, so just comment on the video and I'll get back to you. Okay, and do share your work if you try this out. Do your own poses if you want, or you can use the ones that I used. I'll share the photos, and I'll see you on the next one. So I hope you learned something. Bye.